Are you ready? Hey, think you could tell us what to do? You think you could tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break the wall!
Well, welcome in.
Uh-oh.
Here. I think it's better now.
I don't hear you.
There. You should now.
I do now.
There
You
you
do?
go.
I hear you now.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, now I hear you. Okay.
Welcome in.
All right,
Welcome
thank
in.
you. All right, I had to way down.
Welcome in to Let Me Tell You Something, brother. We've got we just lost everybody's eardrums.
What?
I rolled the wrong audio, but welcome in, of course, live from Tom's Production Studios here, right in the big town of Johnsburg. The burgers love this place. And of course, if you can think it, he can ink it. Check him out at www.tomsproductions.com. Look at that. We've got a nice camera. We got some lighting. We've got audio for the producer. Come
Hey,
on.
welcome back to the show.
Come on.
Well, and I'm not even seeing us on the Facebook feed right now. I don't know
We
what's
got
going
one
on.
person watching right now. What do you mean you can't see
I
it?
can't. I don't know. Maybe it's John Cena.
What's happening? We're having trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook's end.
Okay.
It is possible.
It is possible. I don't know what's going on with him. I'm hearing a lot of people are not happy with him lately, and
No, but we're on. If you go out to Uncle Pete,
Uncle Pete's got it.
Uncle Pete's got it. There it is. Uncle Pete looks to be running, and of course, if you're out there on our YouTube, 216 Creator Studios YouTube, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, smash it, share it. We're good to go. But yeah, some of yeah, I don't know. Let's just see what happens. I'll try to edit. We'll see what's going on.
Facebook's having a lot of issues I've seen.
Yeah, they have been.
Yeah, it's like like people are just right now. It sounds like they're jumping ship over to other platforms just because they're tired of the headaches and all the
I agree.
issues.
Well, I
going
think
on.
now there's just so many platforms that you can even go to,
Right.
Yeah.
and they're so easily user free, friendly. Why kind of stick with Facebook? All right, well, let's
It's just
get into
easier to share.
It is easier to share. Correct.
That's where they get you. They get you at the convenience level. Yeah, pretty much everyone, most people have Facebook.
Mhm.
Not everyone has YouTube. I mean, if you have kids, you have YouTube for
Yeah.
sure, but
Or some form of
right. And I don't think everyone has like StreamYard or some of the other stuff. So oh, your mic's
Yeah,
not
I know.
on.
What
So,
what are we
well,
talking about today?
All right. Well, welcome to the new studio here, or not most, the somewhat new, updated studio. We finally got new lighting, got the camera working, audio's sort of working better. We got to do a different type of rigging system, but it's working. And we're getting it. So, how have you been?
I've been
How's
good.
your 2 weeks?
It's been kind of crazy 2 weeks for me, but kind of the ship's kind of getting righted now. So glad to be back. Glad to be seeing the improvement.
Ken's checking our audio. Is he
Checking
hearing
our-
that stuff?
All right, heard my.
I hear from here. So,
Yep.
so what should we get into first? I know what I want to get into first.
Let's-
So I got my notes section here.
There we go.
What was the biggest thing that happened this week?
Well, I think our producer had a lot of stuff happen for him this week, but we'll keep it to the show only. But
Show only. So the big thing I saw last week was last Sunday. It was a nice football game early afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
My lovely Colts defeated your Chicago Bears over here. So,
here we go.
and just what was very fitting is the whole Seth Rollins was in attendance and got thrown over by T.Y. Hilton.
Yep, he did.
And
So now, is he medically clear?
Right. That's the thing.
I don't know. They'll probably
Maybe not anymore.
Right. So some people were kind of confused, like, "Oh, the fan got thrown on the field or whatever," because they have no idea who Seth Rollins is.
Right.
And then, but then, like, you see like Ty laughing in the background, security guards like, "Okay, whatever, go over there." And
Yeah.
so, like, I mean, they were in on it. So what they were pretty much doing is promoting the Royal Rumble in January, or not January, February. Now.
Yeah.
First Sunday or first Saturday in February.
Yeah, that's been really, I mean, kind of confusing me right now because they keep. Am I wrong if I'm seeing this stuff wrong? And I apologize, but like, are they advertising multiple year events now?
They're advertising the big ones.
Because like I've heard like Indy for the Rumble, and then I swear I saw a vignette or a commercial for the Royal Rumble of 2026. I didn't think they announced where that was going to be at yet.
Oh, really? I didn't pay attention to that. But yeah, because like they're already advertising SummerSlam next year as a 2-night event.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I don't see any slides on.
I don't have any slides on that because I don't care about that. We got way too much to talk about to get into that. That's way too much in the future. So, but yeah, just poking some fun at the Bears fans out there with my Colts winning.
I mean, hang on. Let me right the ship as a Bears fan here. I mean, we had a good day today. Okay, we actually looked like an NFL team. We had a quarterback that actually could get the ball down the field, and the Vikings beat the Packers. And I mean, your Indianapolis Colts did win.
Finally beat Pittsburgh.
Finally beat Pittsburgh. Justin Fields showed why he's no longer a Bear. And he came back down to earth, being Mr.
Hey, and there was a lot of times today where he would have took off running where Williams sat in that pocket.
Oh, for sure.
We're back on Facebook now.
Oh, we're back on Facebook.
Oh
Look
no,
at that.
and it went off.
And it went off. Oh,
Yeah,
whatever.
Are we in
got
jail
sued.
or?
No, it's just something.
Okay. I just want to make sure the redirects didn't get us in jail.
No, they haven't been on in a while to get us in trouble yet. So apparently they're going to be back next week.
Yeah.
For the Bad Blood pay per view, which we'll get into later.
Now I feel like you should change your tagline for the shop. If you think you can ink it, because clearly you don't just ink anymore. I mean, you do engravings as well. So you kind of hit all medias here.
Any decorative apparel.
There we go. Okay.
It rhymes and sounds better.
It does. No, it does.
So let's get into actually the biggest story of the week.
Okay.
It is the Vince McMahon documentary that came out on
Virtual
Netflix.
Boy. All right.
On Wednesday. So I mean, it's a 6-hour episode, or 6 episodes. Each are an hour each. If you watch his biography on A&E, you already know most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is what for my take on it. Each episode has a highlight for what each one is pretty much geared.
I think something happened to you, Mike. I don't know. I lost him. Did you lose him? I lost both of you for whatever reason. Oh, interesting. Okay, we'll figure this out. Brett, stay with me.
I was trying to see if I can pull the episode. We're back.
We're back. Hey,
We're back.
we got the
Alright.
audio back.
So
So the episode list
So episode 1 is
called Junior.
Junior. Second episode is called Heat. Third episode was Screwjob. Fourth episode is called Attitude. Fifth episode is Family Business, and then the sixth episode is the finish. Um, Now I will say that I did not get all the way through the whole thing yet. I still have episode or the finish to watch. Um, my I was more intrigued by like kind of learning a little bit about them. But like you said, if you watch the A&E one, it was kind of a lot of recap.
And it wasn't, and they were missing stuff in it too. Like they would bounce back and forth and leave out
Hmm.
a few details.
And I love how every episode ends with like a lawsuit that was either settled or something with the WWE. It was like,
Right.
oh, so and so's lawsuit was settled with Owen Hart's wife. Like, oh, okay, cool.
And like with that, I mean, they even said like in the last episode before his final interview is when the whole Janelle Grant lawsuit
Mhm.
happened. So they didn't get the final interview that they wanted.
Yeah.
So they say. But I mean, they have tons of footage. No rumors yet if there's going to be a second season yet,
Yeah.
or what they're going to do. I'm sure they'll probably do something like Tiger King, where they'll have a wrap up after the court case. Or
Yeah. Now, I will say this. I don't think, and I've said this before, going back and watching some of that. Oh, look, Megan actually off today, so she will
off
be.
today,
She
she's
is
going to be
off.
chiming in.
Yeah, says hello.
She will. Hello, hello, hello.
Ooh.
All right, but it did not age well. Like some of the things in the Attitude Era, like
Right.
now with the whole allegations, and there was a few choice things that again, I've always said how the camera plays and how they
Right.
word it. I forgot what. Oh, in the first episode, they're talking about like these allegations,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like
they
the
cut to
steroid
McMahon,
era.
and he's just like, "If I could tell you the real stories," and I was
Right.
just like, "That was some poor like."
Right.
Let's edit that a little bit better.
You only know the half of it.
Yeah, you only know.
Right.
Yeah, like okay,
I can't repeat what.
yeah. If I could tell you the real stories, you would know. Like,
And just about every one of the wrestlers were like, yeah, looking back at that now.
oh,
Whoops.
that's a shock. She says I'm super quiet.
Oh yeah. Well,
Wow.
I trust my producer over
we'll
here.
jack it up. Get you there.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it was a good watch. I mean, I kind of watched one episode Wednesday night, rewatched that same episode last night, and then I kind of binged the rest of them today for the podcast.
Right.
So I mean, it was on in the background. I had the Bears game also going. 'Cause, I got a split TV view, so um, that was kind of my day to day. I was entertained. Again, it's what I watched the show for. I mean,
It's a good watch. I
yeah,
mean, it keeps you intrigued.
yeah. I mean, I also like going into the Attitude Era one. Jumping to that episode, the whole thing with Owen Hart. I didn't know like there was a law. I knew the lawsuit with
Martha.
with her. I didn't know that he literally took whatever she was suing him for, and he took that and added $1 million and sued the
Right.
manufacturer of the harness. I didn't know that was his game,
Right.
and so like knowing that,
It's like Eric Bischoff when he signed Macho Man with Slim and he
Yeah.
got Slim Jim, like that paid for the contract. So
Correct.
that's where it's like he didn't lose any money.
and that's just where again, like I think a lot of people now don't know that stuff. Don't, and that's where like this documentary is gonna catch you, and that's where it's gonna be like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Like that's interesting. Now I watch the next episode.
And it was like earlier this week they said too, like Vince came out publicly saying like how he didn't want this there. He tried buying the rights and because it was very
I think that's all publicity.
but
too.
same here because what was also Wednesday, AEW Grand Slam.
Yeah.
And what I don't know if you got to the part where like a lot of guys said like he's never going to leave.
No.
And it's like he'll find a way back and do something.
Yeah, and then of course the family matter or family business episode. I knew what they were gonna hit on with the whole Triple H stuff, but I didn't realize there was actual real heat between Shane and Paul.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that was like legit. Like I always knew like it was like I thought it was just a work.
Right.
I didn't realize it was legit.
Oh, that's where Vince will bring anything that's real
Yeah.
involved because that's good
It's money.
television.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's money. And if you guys are both making money, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
If you guys are going to be having an issue with it, then you're let go. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know. For me, like watching the whole documentary, like, all right, yes, it was really one sided against the character of Vince and the Mr. McMahon character, that blurred vision of how
Yeah,
he is.
let's talk on that really quick. I don't mean to cut you off,
Yeah.
but like he kept referencing that. Like he's like Vince McMahon, the character. Like, no, dude, like that's you. Like let's just.
But he even said like it's him on.
It's 90% him.
Well, it's mostly him. But it's like also, but they never said anything good he's ever done.
No.
And that's where like usually like in these documentaries, there's a balance.
Yeah.
And even like you'll get to it in the last episode. Bruce Pritchard even says like you got to view the first few episodes, and then they interviewed him afterwards, and he's like, "This is like all one sided. Like you didn't talk about how he came and helped my wife with cancer, got her the best treatment.
Well, I mean, everything
Yeah,
he does with the
right.
troops, everything he
Right.
does with the USSO, like
Right.
he
That
does
wasn't
a
even
lot.
that
No,
wasn't mentioned at all.
never. You know, they touched on, of course, the union, and they touched on every trial he was part of,
Right.
and that's exactly what they did. But even like Shawn Michaels, I think Shawn hit on it a little bit when he was like, you know, I owe this guy so much.
He was like the a lot of them
Yeah.
even reference it. He's like
Yeah.
a dad to me.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where like when the wrestler spoke about him, you saw like the other side of that coin per se.
Right.
But I mean, but look at it. I mean, the whole you knew what you were getting from
Right.
just even the poster. Like I knew while looking at this that it was gonna be evil McMahon, and he was gonna be that you know,
Right.
what everyone hated as their boss.
Well, that's where Netflix is brilliant, right? And Netflix is brilliant because what's happening in January,
Mhm.
and what have we talked about for months? Who's the heel? There's
Right.
we were talking about it the last episode. It's like, hey, you know, remember when? I mean,
Hey, Eric Bischoff made an appearance. I mean, there's that
that
door is open.
that door is open. So to me, I can't get over the bad Botox and facial work that he's had.
The whole family's had.
Yeah. Even Shane's been tucked up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think.
I will say this: it's funny you say that 'cause now that I'm thinking about it again, is with Netflix taking over the WWE in January, I thought it was very interesting now how they had the first episode. The first quarter of the episode was explaining the industry.
Yeah.
What's a face? What's a heel?
Yep.
Heels are
Heat
bad guys.
and all that.
Heat.
Yep.
So now
Kayfabe.
kayfabe. So now you
Yep.
know.
Okay.
The
So now
terms.
a person who never's watched wrestling in their life and they're just on Netflix
Yep.
daily, they're like, oh, what's this? And they're gonna click on it. Now they're gonna be able to go back and watch something and kind of get a little like Wikipedia
Mhm.
of what all these terms mean. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and kind of when you just touched on it, kind of brought it back to my mind. So
And the genius of it is the blur of the lines, right? That is what that was interesting to me is that he is ever chasing the blur between reality and fiction,
Mhm.
and that's
what's
what,
going on in the world? Like they touched on that a lot
Yeah.
too. Like
And it showed like how they ended up getting away from it too,
Mhm.
like with the whole Sergeant Slaughter Iraq
Yeah.
situation. Like that was very bad heat that they were getting,
Whoops.
and it's
Yeah.
like, all right, we're going to stay away from that realm now, like that we've been doing for the last 15 years prior.
Yeah,
I know it's not on here, but do you watch
No.
the show Heel?
I have not.
I
Okay.
haven't yet. Is it
Okay.
good?
It's good. So
Okay.
it originally started on Stars. Okay, so like you had to have Stars to see it.
Yeah.
That's
So,
Stephen Amell, right?
Yep.
Is
And
that the Green Lantern?
Arrow.
Green Arrow.
Yeah. So now the man that shall be nameless is in the show,
Oh,
and they've now said that that show is kind of what brought him back to wrestling.
oh.
But it's interesting because he plays a very watching this, he plays a very strong Vince McMahon character. Like he is a promoter slash owner slash wrestler. That's the gimmick. And there's a part where they're talking about things going on in the world and how it's going to affect how they do their show. And they pivot from it. And it was just very interesting to watch this. And it's now like, oh, it's doing the exact same thing with that, and I'm also bringing this up because Netflix just picked them up as well
Okay.
to do season 3 and 4. So now Netflix is really starting to overhaul and not overhaul, but overload their platform with a lot of wrestling content, which I'm kind of was like, okay, are we gonna get the backlog catalog that we used to have on WWE Network now on Netflix?
Maybe when their contract's up with Peacock,
Okay.
possibly. Um, I think they're going to see how it goes with Netflix first. And the other thing, what I could see too happening is you're going to get a lot more WWE superstars and cameos and heels.
Mhm.
Because like Cody's good friends with Steve Amell.
Mhm.
So you'll probably see him back on there because I could have sworn he wasn't he on like season 1.
He was on an episode of Arrow.
Oh,
and he
Arrow,
was a
okay,
villain, and that's what brought him, what brought Steve to wrestling.
Okay.
But I didn't realize this either. And there was an interview recently that Steve did where he did like Ring of Honor, he did AEW, like he's done other promotions.
Yeah.
So it's interesting now because like when I think of celebrities in wrestling, and I'll pose this question for the game later if we don't have one already, but like who is the best celebrity that was involved with a gimmick or segment? That would be my question for the game.
The game? You want to save that for the game?
Yeah,
save
we
that
can
for the
save
game.
that for the
Let's save that for the game.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to give like my takes from the whole documentary here. What I took away from it is it made Hogan look bad.
Yes.
It made him look like he only cared about himself, no one else, and he will only do what's best for him.
And he
no
was
one else.
Vince McMahon's puppet the whole time.
Right.
big time.
And like he crushed Vince when he went to WCW, and that's when Vince stopped doing. Well, actually, it was with Lex Luger stopped doing the handshake deals.
Yeah.
It's like no, you got to sign, or otherwise, nothing. Um, but the other thing I got from it too was Vince won't settle in court if he does not feel he is wrong at all. And so now with this whole new trial, let's see what he does. Is he going to fight it or is he going to settle? Because if he settles, you know he's wrong.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, a lot of that stuff that he's done, I mean, like when they showed the Attitude Era and it was like Sable and they showed like the Trish Stratus segments, and I was just like, man, like, and he's like right there, and it's like, all right, yeah, there was definitely some stuff going on.
And that's major cojones.
Oh, yeah.
He lost money to Sable,
Right.
and then they're back, and that's.
But
where,
look how he used her.
right, but that's where Mrs. McMahon was like, it's in the script,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Then then it's all right. Well, we were practicing for the script, right? He was brilliant
Yeah.
Right.
on how he could protect himself and his company.
Oh, he definitely made it to where he had ways out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, even like the thing with
And he even knew the loopholes
yeah.
for other wrestlers.
time.
Like they touched with Bret.
yeah, as I say, they touched with Bret. Oh, there it is.
All right.
What's the marker? 20. Wow.
Yeah, 23, 22.
Almost 25 minutes it took you.
Wow.
To bring him up. That's a congratulations. You going to withdrawal?
No.
A little bit.
He's getting shakes.
He is. He's a little pale on the face. The
Yeah.
lighting's not helping that.
Oh, it's not helping. Oh, and that's where like when you talked about Sable and stuff. Like I mean, he's brought back Bret, brought back Hogan, brought back Warrior, and all that stuff. And he's like, you can't hold grudges in this business. You got to make money. If they're going to make me money, I'm going to bring them back. So, and the other thing I took away from it is like he said, like, don't hire family.
Yeah.
Don't work with family because it's once it gets to that point where it's going to affect both your business and personal relationship, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Did you hear the part with Shane O'Mac?
Well, a lot of parts.
So, but yeah, I think it was in the family one where he like told Shane like pretty much you have to stab me.
No, that was Paul
Paul
Heyman.
Well, no, but Shane. That's what he said to Shane.
yeah,
But what he said to Shane
If
about
you
like,
think you can do this, here's the knife
knife.
and take me
'cause
right
that's
here.
what you're going to have to do.
I was going to do that to my father. And I was like, whoa, dude. Like,
Right.
I know.
And that's where it's like, and Shane doesn't have that demeanor.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell Shane loves the business, wants to be
Yes.
involved. He was expected to be pretty much handed over the company.
Yeah.
and that's where like the whole
See, and that's that blur line.
Right.
I think Shane is a good businessman. I mean, that's what he wanted to do.
he
He's
wanted UFC. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
as they broke that down, I didn't know that.
yeah, he wanted. I mean, he's a businessman.
right.
He's not necessarily as much of an actor
Yeah.
as his father is.
The other thing I didn't know, speaking of the business thing, was I didn't realize that Linda and him were co-owners from the beginning.
Yeah, that was.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was like how they broke it down was she was business,
Yep.
he was creative.
Okay.
I always thought he was both, and then she became a character, like or like
Right.
a board member.
Yeah, she was CEO.
Yeah, that's what like I always thought. So like when I heard that, I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then to see the family business episode, and it's just like, all right,
Yeah.
and to see some of the gimmicks, and I just love when they go like to Stephanie, like, was there anything you wanted to, that you said no to? She's like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, and then he was just like, oh, there was an episode. There was gonna be where she was pregnant, and I didn't know if it was mine. And I was like, whoa, dude, what?
Right.
Like, what
The
kind of
incest
trailer
episode.
park shit is this?
I'm telling you.
Not offending anyone that's in
And-
the trailer park, but
And for those of you who didn't see it, like it starts, the whole show starts with Junior, where it says he was sexually abused by his
Yeah.
mother and physically abused by his stepfather.
Mhm.
Yeah. He didn't meet his father until he was 12 years old, and
and
that's
didn't
when-
get a hug from his father.
they get
He's
a
got
hug.
a pat on the back.
you never got like "I'm proud of you" kind of thing until like pretty much the
The day
day
before he
day
died.
before he died. And that's where like, and that's all Shane never wanted.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's full circle how it's going back to the next.
Speaking of full
generation.
circle, I think it's interesting now because he sent, so in junior, senior sent junior to
WCW.
no,
Or-
sent him to no, I'm talking about Vince McMahon.
Oh.
He got sent to the northern part of the territory
Right.
to prove that he could do it. Technically, Shane got sent to WCW, but you knew that was still Vince
Right.
McMahon was running that. Is this AEW Vince McMahon's shove to the northern territory?
I mean, this could be his foot in the door to get back into it.
But what I'm getting at is like Vince McMahon was sent to the Northern Territory
Right.
to prove that he could do it and take it over.
Right.
Is this Vince McMahon and now the board, but now it's TKO, so it might be a
Right.
little different, but like, is this Vince McMahon like, hey, we want to see if you could do this?
Mm.
Or is this the board? Is this Tony Khan saying, hey, we want to see if you could do this? Like, we need a McMahon
Right.
to right this ship possibly, because I do think they do need a McMahon in there. Is this kind of the way to be that kind of next chapter? And I thought it was very interesting that they brought that up in Junior.
And that's where, because now like the rumors are with Shane going to meeting with Tony Khan.
Mhm.
You got pictures of him with Khan. You got pictures of him in the Young Bucks at the airport
Yep.
doing peace signs. You have Dean Ambrose saying like on the mic, "This isn't your company anymore."
Yep.
So I mean, are we going to see him in AEW? And is Vince Russo is saying, is this a ploy where Vince sent Shane there to get their information to then start their own promotion to get the TV deals from WB or Warner Brothers Entertainment, and they just sabotage everyone.
I mean, Vince hits on it in the episode, you know, with the whole purchasing of WCW. You know, like he can't, or not him, but I was a Pritchard who made it like once they purchased WCW, he was then onto the XFL. He needed that challenge.
Right.
And that's where I think maybe the thing with Shane, I think they're too much similar to me. I think he's very much a little bit more Linda than Vince. I think Stephanie's more Vince McMahon.
Oh, yeah,
than Linda
definitely.
for sure. But there's still Vince inside of them
Right.
both. And I think they both have that knack to just be the top guy.
And who knows how many other little Vinces are out there too.
We'll find out in this court case.
NDAs.
Hey, those might be going away.
And so, like, you know, stuff like for me from this documentary that was missing, like, I wish like they had JR on there, Jesse Ventura, have them talking on there, Sable, McFoley, Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
It's like those are some people I wish were interviewed. Just to
Yeah, I
get their
wish Kurt Angle was.
It's like you got. I mean, you got most of the big stars from each generation.
Yeah.
But like Ric Flair wasn't on there either. Who else was missing? Like, oh, that was weird. But it's like, and like, do you remember what the name of WrestleMania was supposed to be originally?
No.
And do you know who came up with the name WrestleMania?
No.
All right. So Howard Finkel's the one that actually came up with WrestleMania.
Okay.
Um, Vince wanted to call it Colossal Tussle.
Colossal tussle.
You know what though? That might be what he calls, his videos. They might be a colossal tussle. So
Probably with that.
those videos might be in there somewhere.
With P Diddy.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh. Maybe those will be coming out on documentary. What did she say there?
Yeah, the mics are on.
I hear now.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about this documentary, or shall we move on?
I mean, if you got more notes, I've put my notes to the side already.
So I'm going to protect Bret in this too. Where in the screw job episode, they show the whole Wendy Richter screw job in the
Mhm.
'80s. Did a similar thing to Bret, and where they go and say like, you got to put over a guy. It's just the right thing to do. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And like a lot of us have seen or heard the Bret Hart documentaries. I mean, he's always been consistent with it. And he kept saying like how it was supposed to be. Like he walks out, he's still champion, drops the belt on Raw the next night.
Yeah, but see, but then I didn't also realize that they were going to do a mosh at the end of that, where they were just going to have a brawl, and then
That was the first time, I heard that the
Yeah.
mosh theory.
which I was like, that would have made more sense.
Right.
That would have saved a lot. But again, they both kept their stances on that pretty strong, and that's where I think they're both going to go to the grave with that. And
Right.
again, but then you have Triple H and come out and say, well, you're going to boldface lie. Like, okay, well then, who else
Right.
is not boldface lying about something?
Yeah, like him and Shawn Michaels, like
Yeah.
they're both like you deny to everyone. So I mean, that's where it's like in this documentary, who do you really believe? Who can you trust? I'll always trust Bret. Bret always seems to be honest with everything. He's been open about his affairs in his book. He's been truthful about you ask him a question, he gives you an honest answer,
Yeah.
whether you like it to hear it or not. So
Yeah.
like they didn't touch about Black Saturday at all when he went on WCW the first time in Turner's Network. What else was missing in there? Yeah, like and just ECW in general, like because I could have sworn there was like rumors in the past where he was actually funding ECW to keep them afloat.
Yeah, well, they touched on that a little bit with what Paul Heyman was talking about, or not Paul, but they were talking about how they always looked at ECW as the feeder program.
Right.
So, like, and that also fell into that rumor of like,
Developmental.
was he paying for it and all of those things.
Yeah, like how Heyman said, like he knew he only had Austin for a short time.
Yeah.
And you get quality out of him. What was the other thing I had too? I just lost that train of thought. Oh, the very first episode where he was talking about like when he was buying from his dad and he that next superstar. I didn't realize Dusty was the guy
That
was
he
his first
wanted.
choice.
Yeah.
That one I didn't know. So
Yeah, so there was little things that, I mean, it's good that there was things you didn't know that kind of made me feel a little bit better about watching it. But I'll say this right now, like I said it already, like watching those segments now at the allegations above his head, some of that stuff did not age well.
no.
I think some people need to turn their mics up or their speakers up on their computers or phones or whatever, because I can hear it on the monitor from Ken.
That's the mother.
Literally, everybody turn your phones up because it sounds good on mine.
It sounds
For
good.
real. I don't go to YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, then I don't know. Facebook is having some issues, so we apologize. But
All right. So what's the other big story of the week? Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
So we have a new Intercontinental Champion. We got Jey Uso winning his first singles title after what, 14 years?
Yeah.
So they kind of gave away what was going to happen before on WWE Shop with all his new merch getting like exploded and marketed and email blasts of check out all his new merchandise line.
Well, I also thought it was interesting, like the week before he comes out wearing a white shirt with like his face with like gender neutral colors, pink and blue. And it's like, okay, like a whole new merch line was released, and it's just like, all right, something's gonna happen.
And you have Rikishi keep saying how like they got to do something with him or he's leaving.
Yeah,
like he's deserved it. Like he's one of their top merchandise sale guys. And
I mean, I thought the match was very good. I think it's probably been one of the better matches in the last few months.
on Raw.
on Raw.
Yeah.
I mean, I would even put it. I would put it in the top 5 in the last for even their premium.
Right.
Um, they had a really good back and forth. Now I will say this: I don't want to see them do it again. I don't want Braun to get a rematch. I don't want to do that. I think it's going to diminish it a little bit. I think right now, let Jay take on new people. Don't go back down the rabbit hole of like, oh, Sami Zayn. Like, no, use his Intercontinental title as it was meant to be. Like, have some prestige behind it. And I don't want to give Miz credit, but like when Miz held the Intercontinental title, like he challenged people, but then they had that long run where it was like him and Dolph for like a whole year. Let's not do that.
Yeah, and I think Jay's a good guy to break in some of that talent too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, he's very like going back and like watching a couple of his matches because like he's one of Hayden's favorite wrestlers right now. And there's a lot of like
a lot of kids like him.
yeah, and not because of the yeet, but a lot of everything. But he is very versatile as a performer. Like he can do the high flying stuff. He can give you some technical wrestling ability. And as he's shown going against Breaker, he can go up against some big people.
Yeah.
I mean, because they kept referencing in the match, oh, he can get up to 23 miles per hour in this run. And then all of a sudden you just see like Jay was like, all right, I'm just going to lower my shoulder and let your force and my force hit. And, you know, one of these things is not moving. But I thought it was a really good match. Like I said, it's top 5 of the year for me right now.
Now, like Jay deserves it, but I didn't like how short of run Braun had. And is he in the doghouse? Because that's usually what happens. Like in the Vince McMahon documentary, Trish even said, like, if you say no, like then you get punished
lose the title, like
and get embarrassed, and kind of thing.
How are the fans taking to his Goldberg ness? Is my question.
Well, you got to bring up Goldberg.
Well,
it took you 25 minutes to bring up
right,
Hitman. So.
Well, I'm just saying that's what they've patterned him after, right? And so, with that said, is if the fans aren't taking to it, because he's going to be a star for a long time, Braun is. So how do you pull him back? Do you hide him? Do you bring a different storyline or change his approach to? I'm not Goldberg Jr.
When I'm watching it, you already know there's heat between Scott Steiner and Triple H. There's been the known issue about Braun's dad with the comments a year ago. I don't know if it's just like watching how Triple H is booking lately with like Braun and even Cody, where Cody looks like a weak champion, and like the fans are going to turn on him. I don't know if he's trying to do that with Braun now too, because a lot of us have wanted him, and it's like, all right, you've already brought him up, and you had
you brought him up, you brought him down,
and like you had all this momentum with him when he should have been the guy, and you just dropped the ball on that. Like this is your young guy that's got to be that next superstar. Because like Jay, Cody, they're all in their upper 30s, 40s.
Yeah. What I would love to see happen, and again, I still think your studio is bugged by the WWE, but here's what I would do. Here's how I would book this next week or next 2 weeks is I would have him be disgruntled backstage, pissed off, whatever you want to say. And I would have this whole Bronson Reed and Strowman kind of altercation kind of bump into him and him just annihilate both of them and set something up where, because that's, again, as I've said many times, that's the fight I want to see him do. I want to see him go after some of these monsters, not, the guys. So that's where I could see them pitching him as the next. Okay. I could see him pitching as the next guy to go after Gunther. Because again, you need to give some of these guys actual competition.
But then it's like, okay, if he's already going to go against Gunther right away, you kind of know the result with how much Triple H loves Gunther and giving him the long title runs in NXT and out in
yeah, but I really don't think Triple H is going to do it 3 times. I don't think he will, because I think there was a lot of backlash from Roman holding it as long as Roman held it for. So where putting over a champion, I think a lot of people are sick of this 2-year championship stuff. Like, I'm not going to watch it week in and week out knowing that the title's never going to change hands or the title's not going to be on the show.
I mean, do you want back to the Attitude Era where it's like every other week on Raw was changing hands?
I think there's a
Or
happy
is-
medium.
Where it's going like to The Rock, to Mankind, to Triple H,
I don't think
to
you have-
Austin. And,
I don't think you have enough big name stars to do that. But I think you need to do something where it doesn't get stale. Because that's where right now AEW is gaining momentum.
they are.
And so if you keep this where again, not to go back about the WCW, but like where Eric Bischoff would be like, oh, I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen because it was taped. Like you can't
Right.
go back in that phase where everyone's gonna know the
What
ending
happened,
of the
right.
match. Oh, Gunther's gonna win. It's gonna held. Title's gonna held for another 6 months, and then
Everybody knows what the heavyweight champion is.
Right.
yeah. Well, we've talked about it on many shows before. Like nothing's gonna happen until the next pay per view.
Right.
So that means now Raw and SmackDown. What's the point to watch?
Right.
Now with social media, I can get all the highlights from my phone.
Or live during the show. Like
Yeah.
you get what you need to see.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
why am I going to watch? And I
Oops.
think that's where Netflix, and especially because they had Netflix brass there or staff members there on Monday, I think you're not going to do that because Netflix is not going to allow it because they're going to want people to click on episodic shows and episode after episode after
Right.
episode. They're not just going to be like, oh, we're going to buy this product and then they're going to have a premium event and then their 4 shows of Raw for the next pay-per-view are going to be not watched because there's nothing that's going to happen.
So now we'll go on to the next segment. Did you watch SmackDown at all?
Yeah.
All right. Can't you watch it all?
I didn't know.
So I was watching it while we were doing
Right.
some of our studio upgrades here today, and it's just like, I mean, Carmelo Hayes match with Andrade was a great match.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a pay-per-view quality match.
That's where Ricochet's missing right now. I will say that like between those two, I feel like that's why we're getting where they at match 5.
Mhm.
I feel like that's where like again, there's not that
It's-
mid card talent
right.
on SmackDown.
And that's where it's like they missed like where WCW capitalized was that cruiserweight division. And those and having a balance of that roster instead of having 1 or 2 guys like WWE's had for years. That's just not good. So like pretty much in this show they set up where there's gonna be like a little feud with KO, Randy, and Cody.
Yep.
Way how it ended. With Cody teaming up with Roman and Bad Blood. We'll talk about that towards the end of our show. But for me, like SmackDown, it's just I don't care to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's why I didn't.
Yeah, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, I'll catch Raw, but then I don't know. Something about SmackDown just doesn't hit.
I mean, you knew the whole beef between Cody and Kevin Owens was going to be there. I mean, I feel like I said it after their last pay per view or premium event where, there was a lot of times where KO did not attack when he should have, and he was going to get backlash on that.
Yeah.
Right.
And now you have it where, now I will say the week prior, I love the vignette on at the Georgia Tech football field. I love that little back and forth between Roman and Cody. There's something there still between those two
Right.
that works. But again,
but that's because it's Roman.
and that's what I was about to say. Cody needs something different. And I think
He's got to stop crying.
yeah. But I will say this, going back to Yeet really quick. I feel like now you have 2 people's champions. You have the champions of the people. You have Yeet, who's now wins the title, goes out into the crowd, and then you have Cody, who comes down the entrance, and it's like talking to every fan, giving fans pieces of tables on live shows as take home. Like it's like, okay, guys, like I wish kayfabe was still a thing, like especially after this documentary. Like
Right.
there's so many things that it just doesn't need to be that
Right.
anymore. I just so much more than it needs to be is my point. I mean, also the other takeaway from SmackDown is they talked about that's when SummerSlam got announced as a two-day event.
You're right.
They picked their hosts, or are they the host for Bad Blood? Bianca and
I think they're the host for Bad Blood.
okay, but then Cardi B was like the celebrity now that they're bringing
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Like, okay,
Well, see if she's available with Diddy.
Oh,
We'll find that out in the next week.
Transactions.
yeah.
There's a big list right now. And
There's a big list.
$500 million was the last video I saw sold.
Babylon is tumbling.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you ready?
I forgot my question.
You forgot your question.
Well, I think you gotta figure it out. It was who did
Celebrity.
what?
Oh,
what
yeah.
celebrity?
So, what celebrity had the best gimmick or run in WWE or F? And I'm gonna let you answer on this now that you have a microphone.
Yeah,
Producer.
that's all
You wanna
right.
go first?
Mine is gonna go back to WCW.
David Arquette.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman.
Okay.
I think Dennis did a good job.
Yep.
Got a little crazy when Carl Malone showed up, but
Yeah.
I mean, Dennis was crazy enough to be there and big enough and goofy enough. I think he fit well.
And to do things in NBA games to help
Yeah.
promote it.
Yep. Yep. So I think he bled the two in really nice, and I think he did a good job. So
Yeah, see, you took the question completely different than what I was even thinking. It's like
Oh.
you're thinking of it as like the bleeding, which is fine.
yeah,
You know, I was just more like for me, it's Bad Bunny, like because he was the one that more recently, but also like he actually when he performed did moves that was not just like a clothesline from hell, like a
Right.
strong clothesline or a high flying move. He did actual like acrobatic thing. But yeah, I didn't even think about the whole like when it got brought into their realm
Right.
as well.
yeah,
What-
Bad Bunny. I mean, but yeah, he spent some time in the ring.
Yeah.
He's done a nice job.
I mean, for celebrity wise, like what Logan Paul's been doing, like I know not recently, but like when he first came in, like the moves he's doing and like saving Rey Mysterio with the moonsault, like that's props. Like
Yeah.
that's when you become like an actual wrestler, not
Yes.
just like you're there to collect your pay and promote your whatever movie or drink or whatever it is the next time.
Now I will say I think he gets a bad rep, but I mean David Arquette, you brought him up. I mean I don't think he was that bad. I mean I get what everyone says.
He
like-
shouldn't have had the championship belt.
No,
Right.
no. Let's. That was a bad thing with Eric Bischoff though. Like, I don't think that was David Arquette was pushing for it. But I mean, like he's still wrestling. Like there's some
Right.
independent shows.
He's
that
trying to
yeah,
prove himself. And
yeah, like he's going through the ranks. I mean, I don't think he'll ever hit a main roster, but he's been on some independents doing some like death matches and stuff. So like, I mean, you want to go down that rabbit hole of YouTube videos? Like he's up there. So
Well, on the other side, which wrestlers rolled into a celebrity piece,
ooh,
and
take out the Rock right away.
right. I mean, right now, Batista,
Batista's doing quite well.
he's doing quite well, and he's lost a shit ton of weight.
Well, what's happening?
Oh, he's trying to
take the steroids. Oh, I didn't say that.
I mean, vitamins.
Vitamins.
Vitamins. Yeah, his Wheaties.
Right? But because he's shrinking down so he can play other roles other
Yep.
than just the big
Action
muscly
movie
guy.
star, yeah.
And I think that's pretty cool because I mean that's dedication. But
Right.
he's doing a nice job.
I mean, and Cena's also doing well in the movies, like the great comedy filler.
Oh,
Yeah.
I will say John Cena's probably mine, and I just watched last night with Megan. We watched Jackpot.
Oh, I didn't watch
And
that one yet.
It was actually pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, I like both of them. I can't think of her name, the actress right now, but that's an interesting story as well. Like, kind of a weird idea for a movie.
Yeah.
But you know, I would say honestly, and he had a short wrestling run, but I would say Terry Crews. A lot of people don't remember, but he was a WCW wrestler.
Yes, he was. Okay.
And I mean, now, I mean, he's definitely, and he's shown it in some movies. Idiocracy, he played
Right.
president. Yeah.
Yep.
The documentary.
Yeah, that was a documentary. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that would.
Yeah, he's done a
What's
nice
your
job.
answer?
Oh, and then like for me, like the worst to come in celebrity wise would be was it LeVar Ball.
Oh,
Like, came on Raw and
He's
just
pretty
started ripping off his
and
shirt.
Thanks for listening, LeVar, but you're pretty much the worst.
But you know what though? Like, I would wish he just would have got hit with a chair.
That would have made it better.
I think a lot of people just wanted him to get hit.
Yeah, when the LaMelo was going off, it was just like
Yeah.
bad.
But again, that was kind of Vince McMahon's thing. Where like, all right, this guy's hated. We're in LA. This is we're gonna do something.
We're going to get him on TV, and we're going to get viewers, and
Yep. We're gonna get clickbait. We're gonna get something.
and not realize we're going to have to issue an apology afterwards.
That is correct.
What about you? Worst stuff, Kent?
Worst of. There's been a ton of them, right? I'm trying to think. There's been a lot of that.
Snooki.
Yeah, right. I
Jersey
forgot about
Shore.
that one.
Jay
Oh my
Leno.
God. Leno, yeah, I'm not a big Leno fan altogether, but yeah, Leno was.
Oh, you know what? Now that you say Leno, I might have to change mine. Who was the guy that Lawler fought?
Oh, Andy Kaufman.
Andy
Yeah.
He's the
Kaufman.
best.
Yeah.
He's
I
the
would have to
best.
say he's probably one of the best ones.
Right. But yeah, Leno was awkward and weird.
You don't think Trump?
No,
No.
no, Trump.
Trump played that real well.
Well, you know that he and
Vince.
he and Vince are good buddies, and they've been going at. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it was a bet that Vince lost when he got his head shaved. I mean, that was perfect for Trump. Trump rolled right in there. Yeah. I'd like to see. Let's see him show up next week.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Oh, Vince isn't there, so it probably won't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jay Leno. Yeah. Yes, Nicky was bad. There's been a ton of them. But yeah.
I think next podcast I'm gonna try to find like a top 10 list of like worst celebrities.
Worst
We'll
celebrities.
recap it because there's just so many of them where they've tried to be like,
Yeah, come in for their bit.
yeah.
I mean, the Muppets were fun.
Yeah.
They were on Raw.
All
All right, so that is the best of, worst of.
Yeah, that's the game.
That's the game.
You had the slide, didn't even have
I
a
had
question
some.
prepared.
No,
I'm glad
I,
it came
I
up.
don't. Usually, he just comes up with the
Right.
question.
Usually,
I'm
yeah.
not allowed to prepare.
Right.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the idea.
He wants me to be
Off the cuff.
Shotgun.
shotgun.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like, so we go back to it. Yeah, Andy Kaufman was the best celebrity ever to come into the ring.
Yeah.
I put him above Logan for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, we got another question.
No,
I
no,
can't read
I'm
that.
just-
Oh, it's just our
I'm just
feedback
putting it up
issue.
there. People are saying that Facebook is having some audio issues.
Yeah.
Sounds great out on YouTube. So
Okay. Well.
there you go.
All right.
You had an
So
interesting week.
interesting week. So last show we were promoting an appearance in Lake Moore at Woodman's. It was going to be Hulk Hogan selling his Real American beer. I made it out there.
Rio American beer.
All right, hold on. I gotta
Yeah.
see something. We're not gonna open the box.
Don't open that box.
We know. It is signed.
It
It's
is.
signed.
There we go. So that is signed.
There
so
he is, folks. Right up
that
there.
was at Woodman's in Lake Moore. I went with my former co-host. Was
By the
there.
way,
Naked
same
Timothy.
bandana as the documentary.
as a documentary.
Different shirt though.
Different shirt.
Oh, what's going on there, Kent? Tying it
Oh,
up?
you gonna tie
Oh,
it in
yeah,
on
man.
that?
Oh, look at that nice tight shot.
Nice tight shot. We'll get right in there.
That's what she said.
Hey,
Oh.
thank you very much.
So yeah, so what he was doing is they're now marketing in Illinois.
Okay.
Their cases of beer, and as you're looking at that, tidying up,
And
that,
it's a nice American lager.
Lager.
it's a light lager.
It's a light lager.
Lager.
So I ended up, I did
And
buy
look
a
at-
separate case.
Look at how all American that case is. It's a red, white, and blue. It is exciting stuff. Now, Tom, you're 6 foot, 6'1",
I'm 5'11". I never made 6.
5'11". So the Hulkster is not quite 6'6" then. Huh?
I think he's got some lift in his boots.
Oh,
He's
okay.
Definitely
Well,
shrinking a little bit.
Yeah.
He also had the back surgery too. So
Yeah. That's right, brother.
So yeah, they're advertising it from, what was it?
You
12.
didn't get a "What You Gonna Brew" shirt.
They weren't selling those. They were,
Oh, okay.
what they were doing, they had a guy coming around. Whoops, I don't want to do that. I'll put it right there. That's gonna fall out. So there's the can. Real American beer light lager. I have not drinking it or tested it yet, taste tested it yet. I figured I'd do it live on air to see how it actually tastes and not be predetermined. They are not paying us anything, so it's an honest.
Honest
Review.
review. I can put this back now.
Let me put it back over here.
So what I was looking up is, so again, Budweiser made United States. it is advertised where it's made. Here, it does not say anywhere on the can.
It says
Anywhere
brewed.
brewed.
Oh.
But where? Because like again, Corona's a Mexican beer.
Denver.
That is, it does say it on the can.
Brewed and bottled, Real American, La Crosse, Wisconsin, and under special agreement, Chicago, Illinois, Stevens Point.
There we go.
There we go. And
Okay, I just wanted to
Clearwater and
make sure that
Denver.
it wasn't.
Made in China.
Yeah, right.
So-
American beer made in China.
So literally lacrosse. So this is old style beer.
Pretty much.
This should pretty
Yeah,
much taste
right.
like old style light.
I would say yes.
All right.
Do
well,
you want
there we
to
go.
do a taste test right now? Are you shotgunning it?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't bring the speaker up.
Yeah, it smells like old style.
It smells exactly like old style. All right, here we go.
All right, coming home smelling like beer.
It's old style.
Old style light.
I mean, it's good. I mean, I like
Old style light. I love old style light.
I like
I can
old
tell
style.
you some stories about the
All right.
time I lived in lacrosse. Drinking
I'm a South Sider. I'm Miller Lite. This
All right.
does pain me a little bit, but it's okay.
Oh, see, now this is just bad enough to be good that
Yeah.
I like it.
Right, that's where. Yeah, I think that's the point.
Right.
It's like his wrestling career.
Yeah, I think
It smells like.
I could do this.
Yeah.
Now I've had good ass beer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Right.
literally the name of the
Yeah.
beer is good ass
Good
beer. Haven't tried garage beer yet.
Oh, that's the Kelsey. Yeah, I haven't seen that. That's at. I saw that at Meyer.
Yeah, I saw it at Meyer. But now I this could be my favorite beer.
Yeah.
Real American beer.
Because I'm usually a Coors Light guy.
Yeah.
But you know what? Now, if I do see this on the shelf, I will buy it. Like, I'll probably switch over to this.
Yeah.
Just loyalty and like always
Yeah.
like to support the
I'm with you.
wrestlers and stuff. So,
Yeah.
and Real American Beer, if you're out there listening, watching, like, feel free. If you could be a show sponsor, we'll
Be a
work
show
out-
sponsor. Send us swag. We'll
Send
take
us
care
swag.
of Terry and the Hulkster. Oh, they're the same person.
So
Get them on
yeah.
there.
So I will say, it's a very. I'm not a huge beer drinker. It's not a bad beer, like you said.
Yeah.
I could definitely see drinking this on a boat. See drinking this during the summer. hot
Yeah,
summer
this
day.
is you're right. On a boat,
Yeah.
hot day, or
Yeah,
after
day.
mowing the lawn, hot
Exactly.
day.
Perfect.
Shower
Yeah.
beer?
Yeah.
Shower.
Shower
Shower
beer.
I will say this though. I'm a huge graphics guy.
Yeah.
And like we talked about the graphics before. It looks great on merch.
Yeah.
Looks great on the box. Looks like shit on the can.
It does not look good on the can, does
He
it?
does not look good on the can at all. Does not look good in person anymore either.
It
But
looks like an 8-bit.
oh yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't tell if I'm looking at it through the wrong line on my glasses or it's just blurry.
Oh yeah, no. We
Oh,
got
it's
a
fine.
few. Maybe if we have more, it will look.
He becomes 3D.
Yeah. Becomes holographic.
Hey, brother. Let me tell you something, brother.
So yeah, so I got there. Naked Timothy got there at 10. I got there probably like 10:45, 11 o'clock. What they were doing is taking numbers. So pretty much you got there. There was a lady walking by. She gave you a sticker, like the number. They're doing the first like 225 people. I think they ended up doing like the first 250.
Okay.
And then they had to turn people away. But the line was wrapped around the building, around Woodman's, all the way around the corner, both corners.
Wow.
He would not sign anything personalized unless you're special needs or a kid. Otherwise,
So you didn't bring Josh.
So Tom,
I actually
Tom
asked-
got 7 things signed and a tattoo.
oh, that's where it's like I asked my kids, "You guys want to go?" And like, no, like they, if I mean, if it was The Rock or Cena, they probably would have been interested. They
I'm
never.
shocked Sarah didn't want to go.
She, it depends who it is. I mean, she likes Bianca, so
That doesn't follow that far. for
Right.
sure.
and then yeah, she knows who Daddy's girlfriend is. But anyways, and the only thing like he would sign was cases of beer. You had and what you had to do too is buy the 12-pack prior, and then exchange that with a signed case of beer.
Oh, so he wasn't even signing them there.
Because they were trying to get it was a very short meet and greet. You had like 30 seconds of photo,
Okay.
small chat, and then
So you couldn't get a sound bit for the podcast.
well, here's the thing.
He tried.
Nega Timothy was right before me.
Okay.
But him and his wife Sally, they were there, and they, like, I mean, they were excited too. Like they're right ahead of me.
Yeah.
So like they're looking at their stuff or whatever, and like And Hogan looks at me, sees the shirt, he's like, "Oh, let me tell you something, brother." When he saw the shirt, and then it's like, I wish
And of
Tim
course,
was there.
Tom's not that doesn't have the camera.
I don't have the
Yeah.
camera because I gave it to the guy to take the picture,
Yeah.
and I wish like Tim was there to like or Sally recording it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we could have had the sound bite.
Yeah, that would have been good.
But
That'd have been cool.
I'll probably get it from another source, but we to be TBD.
TBD.
But I mean, for me, like personally meeting him,
Might sound even. It might sound better.
maybe
Right.
it'd be my voice doing it. But like meeting him, he was nice. Like I felt like a little 6-year-old Hulkamaniac again. For as meet and greets go, like met Bret. He like that was at a book signing. Was nice with that. I was one of the last ones,
You had his
so you had
baby.
more time. Had another baby after that. Yeah, that's true. But she wouldn't name him Bret, or Owen.
Bret Owen.
But,
Odell.
but yeah, so then like
VOO.
Boo.
like a year ago, I met Jericho and Fozzy. I mean, that was fun. Where it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
doing the VIP section, you had more time, just sit, talk, do the sound check. So, I mean, experience-wise, that was probably better, but you also paid a lot more money for that.
Yeah.
Well, the Bretts and Hogans were the freebies, where I'd say Bret was better. But I mean, it was a good experience. Nothing bad to say about Hogan with it. Like, it was an honor to meet him.
And you're looking good in there, Tom.
Yeah, it's the one time I smile. I always smile with wrestlers.
You're
And it's
looking good.
hilarious. You notice that Tom also pumped up the chest a little bit. While
That's what I'm saying. He looks good, right? Got the little quarter turn to
Yeah.
narrow down the.
I wish I had
midsection.
the hand down a little bit lower, but
Yeah.
so. I mean, yeah. Overall, like, no complaints with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's awesome. I
Yeah.
couldn't get there. I really wish I would have because, back in the '80s, I remember watching the news
Right.
and everything
it was a circus.
when he was just coming into the scene.
Right.
Go crazy.
So
It would have been great.
But again, so going back to the beginning with the documentary, I did not realize how many times him and Andre fought before. I didn't realize that it was Vince's dad that wanted to rename.
Yeah, you
him.
got real quiet there. Also.
I don't hear you.
Really.
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hello, hello.
Hello? Is your thingy on?
Yeah, no.
I don't hear him at all. Uh oh. Uh oh.
There.
There you go. Now
There. Test us.
Yeah, that's better.
testicles.
I didn't realize that Hulk was named something else prior, which I kind of knew they
Sterling
were.
Gold.
Yeah, but I didn't know that it was Vince Senior that wanted him to change his name.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Senior liked having his formula was having every nationality represented as a good guy, and he wanted Hogan to represent the Irish Americans. So that's where the Hogan comes from, and Hulk because he was so big, like the Incredible Hulk.
That was big. Jeez.
And what's funny too is, you know, a story with the name, the issues they had with Marvel.
yes,
So like, that's where like Marvel would sue, and like they made an agreement where he could use the name.
Yeah.
And then they got in financial trouble, and then there was a loophole in the contract where Hogan had right of first bid
Yeah,
for the naming rights if they were to ever sell it.
right.
The Hulk, and so he was able to get it when they were going to try to sell for way more money. I think to Vince, but he was able to like, nope, I got it for $750 grand. Like, yeah, because that was their deal, and so because I think the naming rights was like from like '88 to like 2003 or 5. And so now he's able to capitalize on all
But
that
good stuff. Another notch on the old belt, to the championship belt, to meet one of your longtime.
And like when I was talking to Tim about it, like for me now, guys I want to meet would be like The Rock, Austin. I mean, anyone else right now? Like I don't know if there's another guy like, Daniel Bryan.
I mean, I would say
Danielson.
probably like from that generation, and I'll put him in there. I mean, I would say Sting.
Oh yeah, Sting too.
I think I would want to meet Sting.
Flair, I'd be worried
Yeah.
about getting disease.
I'll come in wearing a bubble.
By the
I
way, he's
would.
getting separated again. and
I'd
divorced
still
now for a fifth time.
need Flair.
You had that chance last year at the dispensary.
Listen, we're at 4 minutes over the hour.
Oh wow, we are.
We just
Man, we didn't even get to AEW.
yeah, we talked a little bit about it, but we've been drinking some good beer here. All American beer, real American beer.
So then, yeah, this Saturday is the Bad Blood pay per view. Not really many matches that we've nothing really new added. It's
Nothing,
just Nia versus Bailey is the only thing that's official now. It's new. Yeah. Other than that,
This is just a pay per view because it's a new month and we need a pay per view.
right? It's every month, and I think they gotta get away from that.
I think they do.
I think that's where AEW shines more.
Yeah.
By not having the monthly pay per views.
Yeah. Paul's
and putting on a better quality.
Paul Levesque has got to do something.
And we'll chime in more on that on our next time here at Tom's Production Studio with 216 The Net Creator Studios.
We apologize for our friends over at Facebook and the issues we've had out there with our audio. But always, you can visit www.216creatorstudios.com and go to all of our social medias right there. Also, big shout out to our good friends over at Tom's Productions, www.tomsproductions.com, live from his studio right here in Johnsburg. If you can think it, he'll ink it. Listen, we'll be back in a couple of weeks, and we'll have some more stuff dialed in. It'll be more fun.
All right. We'll see you in 2 weeks.